Andrew Tucker, and welcome to Andrew Tucker World. What's going on, all my great people? What's going on, all my boxing fans? So I come across two articles today. I just want to say shout out to Boxing News 24. Shout out to Boxing News 24. And I come across a statement coming from DiBella. You know, when it comes to Joyce, you know, DiBella is saying Joyce gives Tyson Fury more problems than Alexander Usyk. This is coming from DiBella. Now, I just want to get into that a little bit. Also, I come across another article. Shout out to Boxing Scene, BoxingScene.com. Shakur Stevenson eyes future fights with Loma and Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson, one of my favorite young fighters. You know what I mean? One of my favorite young fighters. You know, a great fighter. You know what I mean? One of the best skilled, technically sound, per boxer punchers in boxing today, and one of the best young, talented, gifted young fighters today in the sport of boxing. Everything he was able to accomplish so far at a young age, you know, getting up to that point of his career, becoming more, I mean, just became transformed into a complete elite level fighter in my eyes. You know, he's elevated, transformed, evolved into a complete elite level fighter. He's a great fighter. Now, wanting to fight the likes of Lomachenko, I understand why Shakur Stevenson wants to fight Lomachenko. You know what I mean? That is also a veteran in the game. He's a veteran in the game. Vasily Lomachenko is one of the best veterans, one of the best fighters, pound for pound, right now in the world today. You know what I'm saying? And that is a legacy-defining fight for Shakur Stevenson. That's why he wants to take on Vasily Lomachenko. I know they are also looking at, you know, well, Loma has, you know, he has declined. He has declined as a fighter. He has declined, and he see a weakness in Loma that he feel that he can take advantage of. That's every fighter. That's every great fighter, whether young, mid-age, you know, young champion, veteran champion, mid-age champion, older champion, you know, of the great fighters. You know what I'm saying? He feel that it's some things that he can exploit as a very skilled technician, elite level, superior boxer puncher, pure boxer puncher. He feel like he can is some things he can exploit. He feels that Lomachenko is not the same fighter, but I know that Shakur Stevenson respects the skill set of Vasily Lomachenko. I know he respects and he respects and honor everything he was able to accomplish in the sport of boxing, you know, with only a handful of fights, you know. But of course, two-time Olympic gold medalist Vasily Lomachenko, you know, Vasily Lomachenko, of course, you know, he's former I mean, if I'm not mistaken, 3-division world champion. You know what I mean? Former unified champion Vasily Lomachenko. You know what I mean? And I know that Shakur Stevenson wants a legacy, wants an opponent like that on his resume, because it is a legacy, you know what I mean, defining fight. You know, some people may disagree, and I just think that if some people just have so much hate for fighters, have something against fighters, when a fighter lose, they pretty much just throw them away and lock them up and throw away the key. They just pretty much throw them in the trash can. They pretty much throw the fighters in the dumpster and just forget about them, or they have something negative to say or negative feedback, or they come against the fighter, say the fighter was never this, never that, and not acknowledging what what he was able to do in the sport, and not acknowledging the great fighters that he stepped in the ring with and he defeated. You know, there's always excuses. Oh, the fighter wasn't the same fighter. Oh, he was weight drained. But the fighter ain't gonna tell you that himself. The fighter ain't gonna say he was weight drained. He ain't gonna say he wasn't himself. Sometimes that could be the case. Not saying that's not the case, but fighters say, I'll tell you that I felt good. I felt better than I ever felt before. When they go up against a great fighter and they lose, another great fighter go up against another great fighter, it was like that fighter was just the better man on that night or that day. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, it's all about, I got a lot of love and respect, you know, for these fighters. You know what I'm saying? You know, Vasily Lomachenko is a great fighter. You know, he's held multiple, he's held multiple world championships in 3 weight classes, from featherweight to lightweight, including unified and lineal titles at lightweight. You know what I mean? So you got to respect him. At 34 years old, I believe he still has a good amount of time left to prove himself, to make a statement. You know, Vasily Lomachenko is a great fighter. You know what I mean? One of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. And for people that just feel that, okay, Loma ain't the same fighter, you never know. Loma can, you know, they look at the last fight with him and Jermaine Ortiz. I scored that fight 7-5 for Vasily Lomachenko. Jermaine Ortiz is a great fighter, very skilled, very strong, lightweight, very skilled, very talented young fighter, very good counter puncher, very good boxer puncher. You know what I'm saying? And he made Loma dig down deep. It was he had a great performance against Loma. Loma made the necessary adjustments and slightly edged the fight. I had it 7-5. You know what I mean? And I believe Jermaine Ortiz can bounce back and go on to become a champion, go on to be great. It's just that he came up short against a superior, elite level skilled fighter in Vasily Lomachenko. And I believe a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I think he won some other games, but you know, we're talking about a guy with a long amateur record. Seen so many different styles, similar to the old Alexander Usyk, you know, similar to Dimitri Bivol. Those type of styles are difficult to beat. You know, the likes of Teofimo Lopez had the right game plan. Even Loma came back in the second half of that fight, or kind of like slightly towards the last couple of rounds, and made adjustments against a very skilled, talented young, you know, Teofimo Lopez, which is a great fighter. You know, I would love to see Vasily Lomachenko up against Devin Haney next, one of the best fighters, and I believe the #1 fighter in the lightweight division. Devin the Dream Haney, another one of my young, great, talented, superior pure boxer punchers. And another one of my great, young, talented, gifted fighters that I love and respect. I would love to see, you know, if that's the next fight for Loma, I would love Loma to go up against him. Stylistically, that's going to be a chess match. That's going to be a very entertaining, competitive, challenging fight, and it's not easy for Vasily Lomachenko. It's not easy for Devin Haney, but Shakur Stevenson most definitely is that guy that's going to be a problem for any and everybody. Just like I feel the same for Devin Haney, just like I feel the same for Vasily Lomachenko, based on styles, based on skill set. You know what I mean? But Shakur Stevenson wanting to prove himself against the best. He want to go up against a hard-hitting, dangerous Tank. You know, that's one of my favorite young fighters. You know, in his prime. You know, he's a beast, a baby Mike Tyson / similarities to Floyd Mayweather Jr., similarities to Pernell Whitaker, similarities to Marvin Hagler, similarities as far as the way he finish a fighter and his ferociousness, the way he set up shots, similar to Lennox Lewis in the way of similar to Mike Tyson. Like Gervonta Tank Davis is an animal. He's a beast. He's an all-in-one total package, annihilator. You know, a monster, Incredible Hulk, Thor combined. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be tough and difficult for any one of these young fighters when they step in the ring with Tank Davis. But Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis is a great fight. We talking about two superior, skilled, very talented, gifted young fighters that was going to make an electrifying fight, a very entertaining fight. And based on styles, I think that's very competitive. For some reason, I don't know who's going to win that fight, but for some reason, I don't feel why. I feel that Shakur could win that fight by a unanimous decision, 7 rounds to 5. You know, Tank can probably win, you know, by split decision or knockout. You know what I mean? That's just my honest opinion, my honest assessment. I go back and do film study, I might have a different opinion, but it's just an opinion at the end of the day. But Shakur Stevenson wanting to fight against Lomachenko, a legacy-defining fight. Tank Davis, 2-division world champion, if I'm not mistaken. I think a 3-division world champion. But Tank Davis, you know, young superstar boxer, young superstar fighter. You know, one of the best fighters in the world. You know what I mean? So I would love to see that for Shakur. I would love to see those two fights, Shakur in both of those, Lomachenko and the Tank Davis fight. I would most definitely love to see those fights. And much love and respect to Shakur Stevenson, man, a great fighter. You know, Shakur Stevenson, man, to me, you know, that kid is special. You know, you got a lot of special young talented fighters, like also a Ryan Garcia, special young talented fighter. You know, so many young talented gifted fighters on the rise. That's, you know, young prospects that I can name, so many of them. You know, like a Keyshawn Davis and guys of that nature. You know what I'm saying? You know, Frank Martin, a lot of those young talented fighters, you know, that's on the rise, that's coming up, and that's going to, I believe, going to do really great. That's going to do really good in the sport. You know, so many I can name, but that's going to be another video for another day. But as far as, you know, Shakur Stevenson, you know, he's a former world champion in 2 weight classes, having held the WBO featherweight title from 2019 to 2020, I believe. The WBO super featherweight title from 2021 to 2022, and the WBC and ring super featherweight titles in 2022. You know, listen, this kid, like I say, a 2-division world champion. Now at 35, looking to make a statement at 35. I can't wait to see what's next for the kid, Shakur Stevenson. Now Joe Joyce, you know, Lou DiBella saying Joe Joyce can cause Tyson Fury all kinds of problems. Joe Joyce is a very big, strong, hard-hitting machine. You know, a very, very hard-hitting machine, a very big puncher, a great, excellent jab. You know, he's very good at setting up shots, setting up the counters. Now, you know, some people be like, Joe Joyce is slow. Tyson Fury is going to box circles around him. He's so methodical. His style is so awkward. His style is so difficult, you know, to deal with. His style, he's so methodical. His style is so difficult. His punches may look slow, but Joe Joyce has very good timing. He's very good at mixing up his attack, whether going head body or body head. Very dangerous inside fighter. He can fight on the outside, but he's good. He can also walk you down. I mean, if you can't stop him from coming forward, he has this effective aggressiveness that I love about him. He's like the Terminator. He keeps coming forward. If you can't stop him, if you hit him with some of your hardest shots, he walks through your shots, he come forward. His mental pressure can break you, and it can slow you down, and he can just start breaking you down, body head. And those punches are perfectly timed. It may look slow, and you know, when you watching on TV and stuff like that, but maybe if you actually live, you see punches being perfectly timed and being right there. It may not seem fast, but they perfectly timed shots, whether throwing combinations to counters, or whether that strong, powerful jab, or the hooks to the body, uppercut to the head, whatever. Them shots are coming, are very timed shots. He's a very dangerous technical brawler, very dangerous boxer puncher. and you got to be careful. Promoter Lou DiBella believes that Joyce will give WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury more problems than IBF, WBA, and WBO champ Alexander Usyk. Fury has talked about wanting to fight Joyce in 2023, which is great. You know, I would love for Fury to fight Alexander Usyk first, and then after that Alexander Usyk fight, maybe fight Joyce. Now, if he fight Joyce first and then goes after Alexander Usyk, that's great. It don't matter in what order. I just want to see both of those fights. And it also goes on to say whether he does or not remains to be seen, because he's taken it easy lately, fighting Derek Chisora and Dillian White when he could have fought better opposition like Joyce. The power, size, and punch resistance of unbeaten Joyce, 15-0, 14 wins coming by knockout, make him a real threat. The 34-year-old version of Fury, 33-0, 24 wins coming by the way of knockout, who tends to walk down his opponents, throwing single shots and then immediately grabbing them in a clinch to begin leaning. The simple style that Fury uses will get him in trouble with Joyce because he's more robust and physically stronger. If Fury relies on throwing his single shots and then grabbing, Joyce will begin leaning, and that style isn't likely to work. The approach works on weaker, lighter fighters that Fury can wear down with his 220-pound frame. Joyce weighs the same amount as Fury, but his weight is muscle, not fat. And I hear what they're saying, you know what I mean? Joyce is a big, strong, muscular, big, strong, physically strong, muscle, big, strong, hard-hitting machine. And all that leaning on Fury, Joyce is going to work. Fury, with all that leaning and stuff, Joyce is going to work his body. But Fury is not going to make that mistake. I think Fury knows to you work off his jab, be smart, get in range, get out of range. I don't think he's going to make the mistakes like Carlos Takam. I don't think he's going to make the mistakes like a Joseph Parker. And Fury is a very big per boxer puncher, very big boxer puncher that can move very well, that can work the angles, that can counter, that can set his shots up, get in, get out, work the angles, pivot, the lateral movement, the head movement. Fury is very difficult to deal with, very awkward as well, just like Joyce, but his elusiveness, he can be very ferocious, but his elusiveness and his counter punching ability, his he's a per boxer puncher, so he's technically sound. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be easy for Joyce to just try to walk Fury down. Fury can fight. Fury can make it a war. Fury can make it an ugly fight. You know, I know Joyce has that in him too. So those two styles combined makes a very entertaining fight based on styles. I think Fury wins, edge it out, unanimous decision. I don't think Fury is going to knock out Joyce, and I don't see Joyce knocking out Tyson Fury unless he's able to force him to fight the fight on the inside. Joyce works the body, sneak up shots to the head, mix up his attack, and works his jab, but just going to be jab versus jab in the beginning because they both have great jabs. Fury jab is a little faster, and the timing of his jab could be slightly a little bit more slightly better, you know what I'm saying? So, and Fury movement could also be a problem for Joyce, but I think based on styles, Joyce is a dangerous fight for Fury, and it could be a threat, it could be a problem. But I think Fury is going to, like the same thing with Derek Chisora, just going to try to box, be smart, set up the counter, set up the combinations, work off the jab, use good footwork, work the angles, throw them off side to side, in and out, and not just sit there and sit still for Joyce. Now Joyce can he's very good at cutting off the ring, so but at the end of the day, he's gonna have to get into his rhythm and set up the shots, and I don't think Fury is gonna be that easy. It's not gonna be that easy for Joyce. Then Fury is not going to sit there. Fury is going to do a lot of moving, a little bit of holding and all that, but a lot of moving. But it's an interesting fight. You guys let me know who wins between Joyce and Tyson Fury. You guys let me know who wins against Shakur Stevenson, against Lomachenko or Tank Davis, or even let me know who wins between Shakur Stevenson and Vasily Lomachenko or Tank Davis. But you guys also let me know who wins between Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko if that fight happens to be next. I love you guys, much love and respect, and I'm on to the next.